Cyclora was talking about.
Y'all seen the footage. Y'all seen the footage in Mythic. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen it. This build is cracked. I want to make this build without a exotic class item because a lot of people is, you know, worried about the being able to go on Grandmaster with all the feature gear on. And that's the only way you can go in there and you can't use an exotic class item. So this is a build that you'll be able to do that. Okay. This is my icy hot build. You see the drip? I made sure I put solar armor on and the stasis armor on. Come on now. Come on. I'm always drippy. Alright. So the exotic we're using in this build is, of course, Mass of Felty. Mass of Felty makes it that Withering Blades hits and bounces create a small stasis crystal and refund a portion of melee energy. The more the shurikens bounce off the wall, the more energy you get. The less they bounce off of enemies or off the wall, the less energy you get. So always try to make sure it's bouncing off of something. Using Withering Blades to shatter crystals or frozen target releases a spread of Withering Blades. So you want to always throw this at a frozen enemy, or if you do throw one to freeze an enemy, throw the second one, hit off that frozen enemy, so you get a lot of Withering Blades bouncing off the wall to get yourself some melee energy. Now, the exotic we're using is Aegis Scepter. It's a featured weapon this season. Super strong already, trace rifle to begin with. So yeah, final blow of this weapon generate a slowing burst around the defeated targets, and then it also has stasis final blows transfer ammo to this weapon magazine from reserves. So you most of the time ain't gonna be worried about reloading because you're gonna be getting a lot of shuriken kills, right? And then the catalyst makes it that when you have a super bar, you can hold the reload button to basically use your super on the gun. And basically, while the gun is in that super state, every shot you shoot at enemies, it slows them and frees them non-stop. It does increased damage. So all the enemies you're shooting is doing, like, it's getting slow instantly. And if you keep shooting, it'll get frozen. You're doing a lot of freezing, shattering, a lot of damage, killing everybody in the area. So you can use this super if you want to, if you don't want to use your regular super. But I recommend using your regular super, and I'll get into that momentarily. Okay. Our energy weapon, we're using Psycho Pump with Rolling Storm on it, and Ambitious Assassin, because I want bolt charges in this build. I want to be able to throw my shuriken, it freezes somebody, the bolt charge strike down, shatter the crystal, do a lot of damage to the person. So that's why we're using Psycho Pump. But that's just my preference. You do not have to use Psycho Pump. You can use a primary if you want to. I recommend a solar primary in this build. Or if you're running double special, run a solar special. Okay, there's reasons to this. Okay, now we're gonna go into the subclass. We're rocking Golden Gun specifically for a reason. Yes, thanks for the person that just subscribed. Shout out to you. You're in the video. We're doing Golden Gun for a reason. It's not just for faster to purpose for the restoration whenever pick up an orb power. We're using Golden Gun for infinite shurikens. So in our build, if I throw these shurikens in a distance, right? If I throw the shurikens in a distance, if I shade step, I get, you know, I get my goddamn shurikens back. Basically, dang near a full bar. I get a bar and a half. I get 150 out of 200, basically, right? Now, throw down the distance again. Usually, when you pop Ascension, you get your energy back, right? We're purposely using Golden Gun because in Golden Gun, you can spam Ascension non-stop. Meaning, I get infinite shurikens in Golden Gun. And you don't want to use your Golden Gun shots immediately. You want to wait to the very end to use your Golden Gun. So, Golden Gun is a good way for us to be able to spam my shurikens non-stop in a room full of enemies. And yeah, profit from it, you know? Help us get our Transcendence bar up quick and just spam jolt and stuff in the room. So that's how you want to use it if you're in a room full of enemies, because you know Golden Gun ain't gonna be able to take out everybody there. So if you're in a room full of enemies, you want to use your super so you can spam more shurikens and freeze everybody in the room. Or you can always just use it with Aegis Scepter, but that's why we're using Golden Gun. Now, Withering Blade, of course, for mass fealty. We're running Dust Field Grenade so we can throw it into a crowd of enemies and freeze them in case we need a get out of jail free card. You also can run Arc Bolt Grenade in this build as well, or Swarm Grenades, right? Not Swarm Grenades, Grapple. You can run Grapple or Arc Bolt. It's up to you. You know, it's your preference. I prefer Dust Field for ad control purposes or Arc Bolt Grenade for Transcendence Bar. We're rocking Gunpowder Gamble. So whenever we get all these stasis kills with our shurikens, we'll get a Gunpowder Gamble. We throw a Gunpowder Gamble grenade in there. So we're doing Initiations and Shadow at the same time. We're rocking Ascension, as y'all just seen. So we can jolt the enemies, get our Transcendence Bar up for light with the Gunpowder Gamble. So we can get Transcendence very quick. Whole purpose of the build is try to get Transcendence as much as possible so we can just spam the shurikens as much as we want. Freeze everybody in the room and do damage, shatter them and all, right? So we got Ascension on, and then of course Amplify with Ascension, jolting the enemies, and you know the damage resistance from Amplified and accuracy. The enemies can't hit us. So yeah, Ascension for that as well. If you don't want Ascension, you can definitely change and put on like Stylish Executioner if you want to go invisible instead. You can go Withering Shroud if you just want to be able to just spam your Shade Step even more. But I think it's excessive. I think you'll be good in the build already. I don't think you need it. I think Ascension is the better option here. We got on Facet of Dawn for a main reason. Throw our shurikens, we get Radiant, but there's a reason for that as well. So Facet of Dawn. Facet of Protection, you know, damage resistance. Facet of Purpose, restoration with Golden Gun. We got Facet of Mending, so whenever we kill enemies with Gunpowder Gamble, we get a chunk of health. So we're gonna be spamming goddamn Gunpowder Gamble anyway. So we got this on so we can kill enemies, get a lot of health, and the same thing with our Prismatic Grenade as well with the Initiations and stuff. And then of course, Facet of Hope, so that we can get 60% uptime on our class ability, so we can spam Ascension more. If you feel like you don't need the health from Facet of Mending, then by all means take it off and put on Facet of Ruin so that your Initiations have bigger explosions and Shadow do double damage. Double damage instances, not the same amount, but double damage instances. So yeah, if you don't need Facet of Mending on, by all means put on Facet of Ruin. Yeah, that's the only one that I would say you can replace in this build. Okay, now artifact, very important here. You got to make sure you have on Flame, Fiber, and Freeze, because you want to have the Solar and Stasis Siphon mod in your helmet. So make sure you have this on. We're rocking what is it, Diviner's Discount, because we're rocking Scavenger mods in our leg piece, so make sure you have this on so it's cheap. And then we got Tightly Woven on, don't worry about that. That's just from out the build. You both have on you can have on this one while you have Frost Armor, your Stasis weapons gain reload speed and stability. You don't need it. I just have Tightly Woven on so I don't have to ever worry about swapping back off. You know how it is with artifact. Okay. Third column, you'll make sure you have Fever and Chill. So when you're getting rapid hits with your Stasis weapon, with your Trace Rifle, you get Frost Armor. That's how you get Frost Armor in this build, okay? That's why you want this, okay? Then that stacks with Frost Renewal. So when you do have one stack of Frost Armor, if you ever get critical health, you'll do an explosion of ice around you that freeze a frost post, and anybody near you get frozen, and you will get ×5 Frost Armor for yourself and your allies. So make sure you have on Frost Renewal with Fever and Chill. We got Cataract Darkness on. I talked about this in a short and in my previous video. This is a very important perk. And make it that solar damage does 30% more damage whenever someone is slow, well, anyone affected by a darkness debuff, right? We're doing darkness debuff in this build non-stop. So we got on our Hezen's Vengeance rocket launcher, so it do more damage to the slowed enemies we are shooting. And we got Golden Gun on as well, so if you ever go into a major enemy, you can 30 shuriken at them and then pop Golden Gun and do hella damage to them with 30% damage, right? And Radiant gonna be on as well, right? And then last column, you want to make sure you have Radiant Shrapnel on. We will be having Radiant on non-stop. We'll be spamming our shurikens, so we might as well be getting these fire mortars coming out and hitting enemies and blowing up on them, causing scorch damage and stuff on them. Icy hot, come on now. We freezing, slowing, shatter damage, scorching, all that, okay, in this build. We might as well get those fireballs going out and doing ad control and hitting all the enemies in the room while we're spamming our shurikens, bouncing off of enemies with Radiant on. As long as we got Radiant on, any damage we're doing is making the solar bombs come out and hitting enemies in the room. So that's why we got Radiant Shrapnel on instead of Frigid Glare. I feel like you don't need Frigid Glare in this build because you're throwing shurikens all day, so you will be freezing people to begin with. You don't really need a precision kill to freeze them, and then plus Edge Scepter, when it kills somebody, it does a slow post anyway, which is kind of what you only need for this build with the Cauterized Darkness. And sometimes it will freeze if you're in the super state of Edge Scepter. And then last we got Shield Crush on, so that whenever we do got Frost Armor on, our melee can come back faster and deal increased damage. And then also we get Amplified and Radiant all the time in this build, making our grenade come back faster as well and do more damage. But we don't do damage with Dustfield unless you're rocking the Arc Bolt, but it will buff up your Gunpowder Gamble. So this does buff up damage with Gunpowder Gamble, and Cauterized Darkness will buff up the Gunpowder Gamble as well. So while we slowing the enemies for our shurikens, we'll get our Gunpowder Gamble, throw that in the crowd. They take extra 30% extra damage because they frozen. You know what I'm saying? And the shadow damage. It's an amazing build. It's actually pretty cracked. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Y'all seen the footage. Alright, mods. You're rocking Thermodynamic Siphon in your helmet, like I said, so you get solar and stasis orbs. Well, you get orbs from solar and stasis kills. Rocking 2 special refiners because I'm rocking double special weapons. I'm gonna give y'all an alternative if you don't want to run double special, but special ammo finders, 2 in the helmet. You know, if you're not running double special, you can. This is free slots for anything you want to put there. I recommend hands on. You will be throwing shurikens all day. Get that super back quick for your Aegis Scepter or the infinite shurikens and golden gun. RMPs, we're rocking 2 focusing strikes, so we get a lot of class ability energy back from spamming our shurikens, and then we got 1 heavy-handed to make some orbs whenever we do get a kill every 10 seconds with our shuriken. Chest piece, rocking a stasis ammo generation so that we get more ammo generation bar going up with stasis weapons, 4 stasis weapons. And then we got 2 resist mods in chest piece. Leg piece, we're rocking stasis weapon surge, stasis scavenger, so we get more ammo when we do get special ammo for the stasis weapon, and then arc scavenger because we're rocking an arc special weapon in this build for the bolt charges we're going to be doing with the combination. Lightning striking, fire going everywhere, ice shattering. It's amazing, bro. And then lastly, in our class item, we got Reform. We're going to be spamming Amplify, so we might as well get an orb every time we get a weapon kill, whether it's with Aegis Scepter or Psycho Pump. Powerful Attraction, pick up the orbs on the ground so that we don't have to worry about it. Pop Amplify, we get that orb off the ground, we get a chunk of health, and Restoration kick in. And doing a Time Dilation to keep the stasis buff on us. But you can take off Time Dilation if you feel like you want to change to something else. You can definitely change Time Dilation to like the class font if you want to plus 20 your class font. You change to Distribution, which I highly recommend. You're going to be around a lot of enemies popping Amplified. You might as well put on Distribution to get that extra ability energy. So we're going with Distribution, okay guys? Now stats. In this build, you want to make sure you have 100 melee, so you get as much melee energy back as possible when the shuriken is bouncing off the wall. And when you shade step, you'll get 1.5 full melee charge. You get 1 full melee charge and then half of the second bar. So you got to make sure you have 100 melee stat no matter what. You don't really need to spec into making the melee do more damage. That's up to you. You don't have to go 200 in melee. The shuriken is really just there to freeze the enemies, not really to kill them, if that makes sense, right? They're mostly going to die from the shatter damage, the ignition, scorch, bolt charge, lightning strikes, joke. They're going to be mostly down to all of that, not really your actual melee itself, right? Which is why I'm kind of hesitant on if I should have heavy-handed on. But sometimes your melee do kill somebody and make an orb, you know? So, hey. But yeah, 100 melee, 100 class ability. So you get your class ability back quick, so you keep spamming Ascension for the melee. So you need 100 melee and 100 class ability. After that, it's up to you. I chose to spec into Super so that I can spam Aegis Scepter, Ultimate mode, Super mode if I want to, or spam Golden Gun for the Infinite Shurikens combination going on there. So I spec into Super. So the ideal build would be 100 melee, 100 class ability, 100 super. That's to be the ideal. And then pour as much as you can into weapon stat to get as much extra damage as you can. Alright. Now, you was asking what can you use if you don't want to use double special, right? If you don't want to do double special, the next weapon you will use is Wicked Implement. Wicked Implement make it that while you're destroying crystals and landing precision final blows, it make a stasis shard, and the stasis shard it will return to the gun, overflowing the magazine, so you don't have to ever worry about reloading. It make a lot of stasis shard for you as long as you're hitting headshots and stuff, right? But the main thing about this gun is the catalyst. The catalyst make it that when you get a precision kill, it gives it a headstone basically. So when you get a precision kill, it'll put a giant crystal out there. And what's Mass Felty good at? Throwing your shuriken at ice crystals. So when you get that headstone kill with Wicked Implement, you throw your ice shuriken at it so that multiple withering blades bounce out and freeze the enemies in the area, right? And then, yeah, you know, it gives your abilities back quick because you're getting stasis shards, you know. Not only that, if you're rocking Wicked Implement, then you will 100% throw on Frigid Glare now. You will take off the Radiant Shrapnel and put on Frigid Glare so that when you get them precision kills, it does do the freeze post in the area, not just the headstone, but freeze post in the area and freeze enemies that's in that area. So that's more, it's more consistent and more neutralizing enemies, more zone controlling, right? You'll run Wicked Implement, and then you'll run whatever other energy weapon you want to use, right? The solar rocket sidearm, for example, right? That's what you will use. And then of course Wicked Implement be giving you frost armor from hitting precision shots. But yeah, that's what you would use if you didn't want to run double special. Your energy weapon, make sure it's solar if you don't want to use Psycho Pump with the bolt charges. Make sure it's solar, and make sure your heavy is solar as well. If you don't want your heavy being solar, then at least make it like the new machine gun that got headstone on it to make your life a bit easier. Armor set you want to have on this build, I recommend Last Disciple if you're running double special build, because then you can pick up the orbs off the ground, get that special ammo generation bar going up quicker, so you keep special ammo on you in this build. Then other than that, you choose whatever you want, to be honest. You choose whatever feature armor you want to have on, and you can pick whatever other featured weapons you want to have on with Age Scepter. Okay, that's the build. It's nuts. I'm definitely gonna be using this build a lot more. It's kind of half with me with the Wolf and Male build with the, you know, exotic class item. I will be trying to make another build for you guys outside of Master Felty that can also work in Grandmasters with the whole without having to be able to use exotic class item. Anyway, love you guys, appreciate you guys always, and until next time, stay up.